Hi there. At FedBiz Access, we get a lot of questions about GSA schedules, and the two most common questions we get are, should my business get a GSA schedule, or what are the benefits? And should I do it myself, or should I pay a company to do it for me? So I wanted to take a moment to just touch on some main points about the benefits of getting on a GSA schedule and about the decision to process your own GSA schedule or outsource it to a company like FedBiz Access or anyone else that you would want to work with. So first, just to clarify, in case you're unfamiliar with the term GSA schedule and what it means, a GSA schedule is a pre-negotiated contract between a company and the U.S. government where the price, the quantity, the delivery schedule, all of that information, all of those details have already been pre-negotiated and agreed upon. It makes it real easy for the government to then, in the future, buy particular products and services from those vetted vendors. So this is the gsa.gov homepage, and then this is a little bit about GSA schedule. So this is their definition. So GSA establishes long-term government-wide contracts with commercial firms to provide access to millions of commercial products and services at volume discount pricing. And in terms of the benefits, so there's a few points on this page for vendors, the benefits. The first paragraph's pretty compelling. The GSA Schedules program is the premier acquisition vehicle in government with approximately $50 billion a year in spending, or 10% of overall federal procurement spending. So again, I'm on a .gov website, so this is information directly from the government. And then here's a couple of other interesting facts. 80% of GSA multiple award schedule contractors are small businesses who represent 36% of sales. More than 40 billion flows through the GSA multiple award schedule contract program every year. And again, if you saw up top, it's more like 50 billion at this point. In fiscal year 2012, approximately 10% of government needs were procured through GSA multiple award schedule contracts. GSA had over 19,000 multiple award schedule contracts in fiscal year 2012. And really what that's saying is, of the 500,000, 550,000 businesses registered for government contracting, only 19,000 are preferred vendors through the GSA schedule program. So this really is a preferred vendor program. If you're willing to go through this and you meet the qualifications, you're going to be preferred over somebody that does not have a GSA schedule when the government buys your products or services. And then approximately 40% of those 19,000 GSA schedule contract holders generate sales. So in other words, 60% of those contractors don't get sales. That's one of the reasons why you, in my opinion, you want to work with a full-service marketing firm like FedBiz Access, because getting your GSA schedule is just one component piece. The other thing that you want to consider is who buys what you sell, who buys through the GSA, who are they buying from currently, how do you stack up, and how do you position yourself to network and cultivate the relationships that allow you to be part of the 40% that is making sales through the GSA schedule. All right, so that's essentially the what is GSA and what are the benefits. Now I want to transition to the decision about doing it yourself or hiring someone else to do it. And from my perspective, I think it's very important you understand that it's when you're evaluating cost, it's not just money. It's also time and it's opportunity. And specifically when it comes to processing a GSA schedule, the amount of time that you have to put into it, coupled with the opportunity for that time spent to have been in vain because you don't know the ins and outs of the application process and the negotiation process with GSA, from my perspective, is very important to keep in mind the time and the opportunity cost when you're comparing that versus the financial cost. So you'll find companies that process GSA schedules, or say they process GSA schedules for a couple of $1,000s. You'll see it all the way up to $20,000, $25,000, and anywhere in between. Our company is anywhere from $7,500 to $8,500, depending on your specific situation and the type of schedule you're going after. But by and large, you'll see a wide range. But what I want to do is I want to show you specifically what the process of a GSA schedule entails. So let's start with the solicitation. So you can see the solicitation documents for a standard GSA schedule. This is 144 pages. So when you're talking about a 144-page document for the solicitation, it's not just how much information is here. It's also what information matters and what is the context of how to do something appropriately or correctly. So let me give you an example of what I mean. You go down here to page 4, and you see here it says the following documentation requirements are completed directly through the e-offer application. Pathway to success completion verification. So if you don't know where to go or how to execute the pathway to success verification, that can be a challenge for you. Here's another piece, active system for award management registration verification. Well, if you have an active system for award management or SAM registration, you have to make sure that the NAICS code matches the SIN numbers for your GSA schedule, or else you're not going to be in compliance when you submit your application. So that's an example of, you could go through the effort of doing this, and if you don't know these details, you can be rejected, and it can be a colossal waste of time. The third point here, small business subcontracting plan if applicable. Well, do you know if a small business subcontracting plan is applicable for your business? Do you know what that means and what that is for, what the purpose of a small business subcontracting plan is? If you don't know those answers, you could go waste a lot of time and energy researching it, figuring out, trying to see if it fits what you're doing, and then come to find out that it doesn't even apply to your company. Or it does apply, and if you don't submit it correctly, you're not going to be qualified, you're going to be rejected. So again, there's pages and pages and pages here on the solicitation of elements that may be important, may be critical, may not be as critical. And if you don't know the context of those elements and what is critical versus non-critical, this could be very, very, very time consuming for you. All right, so I'm just going to touch on some of the other things here. We have the agent authorization letter. You have to know the context of that. The model commercial sales practices format. So you got to review this and make sure that you understand it and that your commercial sales information is in compliance. This is only applicable if you have an existing GSA schedule, so this is just a migration request. This is the model subcontracting plan. So if a subcontracting plan is required for your business, this is the model subcontracting plan that you have to follow. So do you need to, care about this document or not? Again, that's something that you have to figure out. That's a 16-page document. We have the past performance evaluation. It's important to understand the context of what a past performance evaluation means in terms of your eligibility. This is the general and specific proposal submission instruction. So this one's a 14-page document. Then we have the professional service schedule solicitation description for special item numbers. So these are the different special item numbers that may or may not apply for you under this GSA schedule. So you have to identify which one best represents, or which ones best represent what you do. And this is a 24-page document. Then we have consolidated solicitation, and this is a 21-page document that you have to review and acknowledge that you're in compliance. Then we have summary of offer. Now, when we're talking about summary of offer, it's important to understand everything I'm showing you is just the application. It's just the forms and the documentation and the things you need to do in order to be eligible to submit your application to GSA. Here's a very critical element that people underestimate when it comes to getting on, quote unquote, getting on GSA schedule. Negotiating your pricing. See, the government wants you to give them discounted pricing. They want your best and final offer pricing. Well, it's very important to understand how to maintain margins in your pricing, yet be in compliance with what the government's asking for. Go too low, and obviously it's not going to make a lot of sense for you to do business with the government because you're not going to make margins and you're not going to make profit. Price too high, and you're not going to be considered best and final offer pricing and preferred pricing for the government, and you get rejected. So not feeling comfortable knowing how the nuance of that communication works can really, really hinder your ability to be successful, both in getting submitted and approved and then making money. So other elements we have here are the solicitation standard form SF 1449. We have the regulations incorporated by reference that you have to know whether or not you're in compliance with these regulations. It's a 147-page document. So which of these apply to you? Which of these do you need to make sure that you are in compliance with, and et cetera, et cetera. That's something that you're going to be responsible for. And then we have the wage determinations review, which is another 64-page document that essentially tells you what the restrictions are and what the requirements are for wage determination for each class of employees. So again, that is the application packet. That does not represent the negotiation, the follow-up, the submission of forms, because forms either expire or forms need to be refreshed. So a company like FedBiz Access, our job, the reason we charge $7,500, $8,500 for a GSA schedule is because we handle all of those aspects for you and with you. So the things we can do for you, we do. The things that require your input, such as your pricing and the types of employees, et cetera, and background information, company information, we do with you. We support your efforts in getting approved and selling your products and services to the government via the GSA Schedule program. Thank you for watching, and good luck with your government contracting endeavors.